Hi Ali, thank you very much for joining us at the very
Thank you.
first edition of the Explorers Festival.
Awesome thing you've got going on here.
Yeah, thank you very much. We hope to change the world with it, or at
Let's
least
do
to
that.
change Portugal and to support the Portuguese economy. So your talk was about cloud computing, the future of cloud computing, and you are not talking about the technological aspect of it so much, but about the social aspect of cloud computing in the future. So how do you think the social fabrics could be changed by cloud computing?
So the thing is, you have to remember what happened before, what happened in the past, when you had computers were things that big corporations owned. And in the beginning, it was basically only the defense department of the United States or some other companies that had computers. And if somebody would be telling someone that I'm gonna give people computers, or I'm gonna have a computer at home, people would say, and that's a great quote from Doc Searles, great guy. He said, it's like telling someone, I'm gonna have a steamboat, I'm gonna have a huge cruise ship. And people would go, how is that even possible? It's no way people are gonna have steamboats that they're gonna own and stuff like that. And then something changed. Some people thought that we're gonna bring the power of computing to people, and then amazing things are gonna happen. And they happened. And the same paradigm shift we're gonna see once the power of service that is making up the internet. So the internet is like infrastructure, it's cables and it's wireless connections, and in the end it's small boxes or boxes, loud boxes, and huge racks and huge data centers that make up our connections and store the data and send it out and receive it and all those kind of things. And once you give that power to people, we're gonna see the same kind of shift in the things that people are gonna build. You're gonna have things like neighborhood networks. You're gonna have things where instead of using, so you're gonna call your friend that lives, I don't know, 3 streets down your block. The connection is not gonna use the internet as we know it, but it's gonna use something that's emerged out of your connection to your neighbors and his neighbor to the next one and the next one and the next one that gets to me or to your friend. So you're going to see a shift of power to the individuals and to the persons, to the citizens of communities.
So it's basically a personal server system. That's what Protonet stands.
Protonet stands for giving people independence, giving people a choice, giving people. So right now we use the cloud, you use the cloud, I use the cloud, you use the social web to do cool things. And the only choice that you have is right now is to either build your own stuff, which takes you weeks and you have to maintain it and you have to know all the details about it, or to give out your data to things like Google or Amazon or all those other out there and trade your data, your control over it.
Your identity.
Your identity, absolutely, your identity.
Yeah.
That's what you're giving up. You're giving it to them so they can give you some basic comforts and some basic functionality. We want to give people a choice where you can have the same comfort, the same ease of use, but don't have to give out your stuff, your identity.
I saw that having a personal choice is something like a leitmotif for you.
Absolutely.
In your life. So you want to give also this choice to other people. When was it that you decided that you want to commit yourself to that?
So when I saw, for me it was, I lived through a couple of things in my childhood that really taught me that there are systems out there, and that's the majority of the systems, where some people in rooms like these, in some skyscrapers, decide, make some decision, and 60 million people are displaced, 100 million people don't have food on the table anymore, or 10 million people die within the next 2 years. These kind of worlds are created by the systems where you don't have a choice, where you have some central organizations, some huge organizations that control aspects of your life. And when I saw how that happened to me, I was angry. I wanted to change that. I only wanted to change that for me, but the more I lived, the more I saw that everywhere where you look in this world, outside of fluffy bubbles of Western world lifestyle, where everything just seems to work, you go a little further down south, you go a little further down east, you see that these things collapse and people are in total dependency of these systems. I want to create a world where that is not so, at least a little bit less so.
Did you ever feel in total dependency of something that you could not change?
I was born in Iran, and there was this Iran-Iraq war. There was a revolution and then a war, and you had no control. And families were split apart, just like mine. You had to flee, and you lose everything. And I didn't do anything. As well as another, I think 10 or 20 other million people from my generation that didn't do anything to another country. Yeah, exactly. But it happened, and then you go and live in these systems, and like Portugal, that is in a bad shape financially, and these people that are out there, they didn't do anything about that. Was it their fault? Did they not work hard enough? No, it was some decision. Some guys took the decision to take a couple of trillions from some big banks, and these big banks have the power to really screw your country over and take all that money from poor people, not from the rich people or from the so basically, if you had a capitalist system, you would have these banks would have crashed because they made bad investments. But since you have these huge giant systems that are too big to fail, right? These banks go to the government and say, I'm gonna kill your country if you don't give me this and that. And that's what they're gonna do. And they're gonna not take it from another bank, they're gonna take it from the people on the street.
And they thrive on dependence and they create dependence.
Absolutely, because that's awesome. Look at how these cloud systems work. You have a super strong lock-in. How do you get your data out of Facebook? They send you, like, there was this one guy in Germany that wanted his data back, and he got it on, I think, on 20,000 pages of paper. That was all the data they had on him.
You can ask for your data?
You can. It takes, yeah, you have to have a lawyer, and it might take 2 years, but you can get your data back. But look at all these other silos you have. Look at all these other things where they lock you in, because that's what gives you power. That's also the same way our systems, government systems work. They give you stuff and make you addicted. They make you addicted to those things, and then you're in there and you can't do anything. And you could, and that's the thing. You could with technology. Technology is ambiguous. It can create awesomeness, or it can create like bad things, evil things.
Yeah.
And it's always the creators that decide. And if you build something that is designed to make the world a better place, and make it a good product, make it something that people really really want to use, really need, and are willing to pay for, and really have fun using it, but integrate, that revolutionary DNA that makes the world a little better every moment you use this thing.
And people are also, I think, a bit scared from technology because it looks so rough and dark and unknown, and you have to make it more playful. You have to make it.
That's how it works in medicine. That's how it works in everything, and every knowledge part, every system where people that have the knowledge, some of those people tend to make it like some dark art, some magic. They tell you, don't worry about it, we're gonna handle that, and it's very complicated. You won't ever understand it. Look at medicine. Look at how, and I'm gonna make a prediction, in the next 5 to 10 years we're gonna see a massive surge in things that's gonna change the way, the power we have as humans over our bodies and over the data that our body generates. Nanotechnology. Yeah. Quantified self things where you measure all your own data, and look at, for example, there are experiments where you can create X-ray machines out of $200 parts. Imagine a future, and there's a huge gap because people think that medicine is something that you have to go 10 years, you have to go to the university for 10 years and then practice another 5, and then maybe this dark arts thing, this dark magic things. But no, it's just like hacking. That's what I believe. Also, the same thing goes to what we built, technology and infrastructure. It's complicated as long as nobody makes it simple. And once it's simple one time, it's gonna change everything.
Who do you think are the explorers of today that are gonna shape the future of tomorrow?
I think that it's those. We already have 1 or 2 generations of explorers on the informatics side of things, computing, where people, the moment you gave these people computers that they could take home and play with, they started to create things. They started to create all this huge range of things that brought us to this place in the informatics world right now. What we're gonna see as explorers is we're gonna see the same things happening on the medicine side. We're gonna see the same things happening on the space side, on the infrastructure side, whether it's energy, telecommunication, whether it's simple things like sewage systems or complicated things like sewage systems. I mean, think about it. What would happen if someone would take away the sewage system from a city like Lisbon?
I don't want to imagine that.
Don't imagine it. 24 hours and we'd be all waiting in very stinky stuff.
Central Station, right?
Yeah.
Everyone would come to Central Station.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But the explorers of the futures are those that play with these technologies that are now only are closed and are only used and applied by some elites. NASA, for example, or universities that do like research and that are so far away from you and me that for us it's like it's a black box. We don't know what's happening there.
We have to learn how to play with the reality we see around us, and not to take it as simply something granted and something fixed, but something you can actually change it. You can play around with it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to play around with what we build in our style. We have a lot of fun in creating these things and thinking outside of the box, because we have to think outside. We are like right now we're 20 people and we're trying to change the world, and you can't do that with 20 people if you just do whatever the status quo is of things. So you have to play around, figure things out, and it's fun. You move every day. You move forward a little bit. And the end, obviously, for our species is not a change on this world, but a move to the stars.
Space exploration.
To space, of
You're gonna meet space explorers as well at the Explorers Festival.
Looking forward to that.
We have like also astronauts.
Really looking forward to it, because that's for me, that's like the next obvious steps. That's why we also, what I believe nature has created us with such capacity for thinking and creating, is to bring us off this planet.
Beyond their own reality, beyond their bounded reality. Thank you very much for the interview and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.